if people search for the openers on
Well,
podcast,
yes,
our podcast was the first one on that list.
Yes, we are more of a fashion model.
That's the reason.
So the drivers are also really good looking.
Welcome to the new episode of Openers. So let's start with the introduction of Varun.
ठीक.
So Varun, would you like to introduce yourself?
अच्छा मैं ही बोलूं?
बताओ और क्या?
हाँ तू ही बोले.
Yeah. Mostly introduce करते.
Yeah, toughest part of the podcast.
Yeah.
So hi guys. So I'm currently working as a marketing lead at a sports media company known as Essentially Sports. With that, I'm also lucky enough to work with the founders of my company on the business side, some parts of the business side, and also from the organizational side, like running the organization. We are currently 300 odd member, so basically काफी operational heavy हो जाता है with remote work. About Essentially Sports, we are a sports media company covering major American sports. We cover almost more than 13 sports, and our major TG also lies in the US. Our 95% of the audience comes from the US. We are a digital first media house, and we want to break the stereotypes and be a internet first media house always. And we want to disrupt media through via internet, basically. So yeah.
So tell me more about Essential Sports, because people might not be knowing that they're reading an article from that particular website, but mostly तुम्हारा ही होगा अगर इंडिया मतलब जो भी पढ़ रहे होंगे लोग, right? It's one of the biggest in the world when it comes to your respective domain. So how was it started and how did you join Essentially Sports?
So about Essentially Sports, ये चालू हुआ था 2014 में by 3 engineering graduates only. So they started as a passionate sports blog only. Slowly they got to see, ranking on Google and stuff, and that's how they started this as a, real business and a real media house in 2016, 17. So basically, as you were saying, yeah, India में इतना rank नहीं होता because that's how the Google works. If you are a US based website, you'll rank more on US. If your search results are on US in the US, then it will work, like you will get ranked better in US. So India में इतना rank नहीं होता हमारी website, but it's majorly in US, and our major traffic sources come from Google only. So that's why you might not be knowing about the brand here in India. Of course, we don't want to focus also on in India because our major revenue is ads, and the ads revenue in US is severely higher than in India. And the way this digital hemisphere works is, if you're ranking in US, Google will not let you rank in other countries. That's why you'll see websites like .in or .au, because they are targeting in that particular country. Google does not confuse a .com with in other countries. .com हर जगह rank नहीं करेगा. That's why you'll see bigger
so
websites.
that's the reason why they have country specific.
Yes. So if you want to target India, you will have a .in website. Better to have a .in website.
So that would be ranked better.
Yes.
So you don't
So
basically you don't want to start a different India page by saying it .in and उसमें content post करो ताकि India में हो सके, or that is that's like copying the US business in India, and that will require more effort.
Yes. So of course the efforts are more, and the cost to benefit ratio would be too less for India right now. As I said, the ads revenue is like 3 or 4 times in the US right now. So that's why we want to focus more in US only, and we still have not we are still not the biggest brand in the US, so there is still a lot of scope there. About my journey at Essentially Sports. So basically, I my academic qualifications are anything but ordinary. You already know. So after my 12th, I started to focus on a career as a techno manager with my degree. That was an integrated program of MBA and BTech. My BTech was in mechanical engineering and MBA in marketing. So as every student, I was also focusing on getting a job from college placement, getting a good city, getting into a good company and stuff. But I met with I would say a happy accident, and that's how I got an opportunity to be at Essentially Sports. So basically, in my after completing my internship, I was coming to home and I met with an accident. I I I fell from my scooty and got injured very badly. I was prescribed to stay in bed for 2 months. That was the period when I had a lot of time in my hands. And luckily, मेरे पास Netflix subscription or OTT subscription नहीं था to kill my time. So, so yeah, I had to make the best use of my time. I was getting bored. It was the same period the Australian Open was going on in January, and I was watching matches, and I thought, let's make use of some time and let's put out my thoughts into articles.
So
So I
what brings
searched.
you to that, right? Just to cut you off there and like little bit go in depth, right? So if you allow me, right, to ask you questions, right? So how you figured it out, right? By like it, you just not only want to watch it, but also like put your own thoughts or just words into some articles or so, right?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
brought you
I
there?
think
Yeah.
Varun, giving a bit of your background in sports would help,
Hmm.
because
Yes,
even
yes,
if I'm watching Australian Open, I won't want to write it down, right? So I think the
correct.
background.
Yeah, yeah. So of course, I have been a big tennis fanatic right from my in, years in school, like from the sixth standard. I've been playing tennis, learning tennis. I've been a state level tennis player and watching tennis since a long time. So I always wanted to be like try out to be a professional tennis player, which I could not be, of course, for various reasons. But I when I was watching those matches, one of my friends told me that you know you can do such things like you can write articles or I did not know anything of such type of opportunity exists. So man, he told me कि यार you what are you doing? You can write down. तो इतना discuss करता है debate करता है इससे अच्छा do something which is fruitful. So I thought, yeah, that is true. Like फालतू का एक दूसरे से लड़ने से अच्छा तो मैं कुछ और करूं. तो
Just to pitch in
so
here, I remember, so I was part of the tennis gang. I joined late. I joined around ninth standard. That's when we started playing tennis together. And उस time maybe the arguments that these guys used to have, they were really passionate about it. मैं तो ठीक है, friend group खेले, मैं भी खेल लेता types था मेरा. These guys are really passionate about it and they used to like गुस्से हो जाते भाई, निकल जाते court से अगर कुछ भी हो गया, fault हो गया कुछ तो. But yeah, that's the level of passion these guys had. But
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
now I get it, right?
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
basically, that friend of mine was writing political articles, and that's how I got my inspiration to jot down my thoughts into words.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. So continuing the story, I started to surf on the internet to see any opportunity exist or not. There was one company called Sports, which is our rival company. So I started to write for them. They they have a system like you can write down articles. The editors will check your articles. If they like it, they'll publish it, and if they don't like it, they'll reject it. Luckily, I got my first article approved during that time, which gave me the confidence to write more. So I wrote, 30 odd articles in those couple of months, just as a gig. It was not a career for me at that time also. So it was just that I started it as a gig and just to just to have my continue my passion of sports there. So after that, I got a real opportunity from a tennis website whose whose page on Facebook was one of the biggest tennis fan page in the world. I was also handling their social media. So I worked for them for 9 months. But tennis as a sport is very niche. You cannot have a different website for tennis and be one of the be profitable. So that's why they had to shut their company off after 9 months. And I was lucky enough that they recommended me this company, Essentially Sports, to work for and continue my work because they like me. So
But
that's
Varun,
how I landed up to
how did
this
you
job.
like? What did you feel? So, were you a good writer back in school and college? And did
Yeah.
it not bother you that people will, is my writing good enough? Should I put
Hmm.
it out or not?
Yes.
As I think this is something that most people have in mind. I'm not a native English speaker. Can I write well? Will
Hmm.
people really read what I'm writing? So, how did your journey of writing start and continue?
Hmm. So basically, the first article that I published, like I told you, the editors check and if they like the language and stuff, they publish it. So the comments that he passed on to me was that your analytical skills are really good, your technical knowledge is really good, your language is a bit okay. It's not very high class. Your literature is not very high class. So basically, he told me that I can still, edit, and because of your analytical and good statistical skills, I can still edit a few weird words here and there and make it go live. So basically, my language has always been mediocre only, but because of my good knowledge in that sport, I could make through it. So it's not necessary right now with the attention span going down globally that you should have a really good English, really high literature. You can work it out with your sports knowledge or with what giving out what the fans want. So
Right. And how big is this market, would you say, for sports, wherein people go and read? The reason I'm asking is written content is okay, but I think most people say prefer watching interviews or watching the matches and just looking at the interviews or podcasts that are happening with the players, right? So how big is the market? And yeah, I think we can go from
yeah.
there.
So basically, internet ने काफी चीज बदल दी है. Basically, मतलब I remember हम जब स्कूल में थे, we used to read the last page of the Times of India to read
हाँ
about the
हाँ हाँ,
highlights of
दो पेज
the
थे बस
games.
उस टाइम पे, हाँ.
हाँ. हाँ, वो जरूरी थे स्कूल के पहले पढ़ना, फिर वो पढ़ के जाते थे और डिस्कस करते थे. After that, internet came, so people used to go to BBC or ESPN, जो बड़े websites है, to look at the highlights. But then certain applications came like CricBuzz, जिसमें you can get the scores and highlights of games. Then YouTube came where you can watch the highlights in a couple of minutes and get to know what is going on in the world of sports. So everything is available there. But the audience that we are catering to is a general fans, generic audience, not the core fans. So these audience are very much interested in the sports star personal lives, what they are talking about, the major issues in the world, like for example Ukraine, Russia war and stuff. What they are talking about the rivals, what they are talking about the recent documentaries and series and stuff coming out. So there are these inside news and like these quotes coming out from players, which is not very accessible in all other platforms except for a website like us. So that's where we are catering to. That's how we are catering to these audience. Giving out the news that is not available anywhere in a podcast or stuff. Even for a podcast, you might like for a Joe Rogan podcast, which is 1.5 hour podcast. A UFC fan would not want to watch that 1.5 hour podcast and listen to it. There might be only 2 or 3 lines on a certain UFC fighter. So we break down those podcasts into what a real MMA fan would want to read about or listen about. So that's how we are using the podcast also for our benefit.
So when you started writing about tennis, right? So you cater to multiple sports at that time in your articles, or only tennis you were focusing on at that time?
So started I always have been a tennis writer only. मैंने
Mm-hmm.
कोई और sports नहीं लिखा है.
Okay.
Somewhat I covered cricket, but we stopped covering cricket because again our TG was in US and cricket is not as much famous in US, so we stopped covering cricket. But tennis has always been my core sport only.
Got it. And just to like, I want to connect the dots back, right? So you did your internship and you met with an accident at that time, and then you thought, right, instead of killing your time, just write your thoughts about sports, right? And further continuing and getting into this profession of journalism, sports journalism, basically. So our main agenda and motive also to bring you here, right? I want to basically learn how you get into this sports journalism, which is not very famous in India and even is not very encouraged field, right? If we'll really see, it's not in high demand. So if you can cover about that from various angles to it, right? How you get into this, how it helped you, and also like how the environment was supportive to you, right? Your parents, or
What
there
are the
might be
challenges you
other
faced
things
as
as
well?
well.
Yeah, I think that would be
Maybe
important.
in those angles, if you can help us, let us know, right? How you get into this particular field, because there can be many people out there who are sports fan, right? But not many of them are going into this profession. So yeah.
So, firstly, everyone has their own journey and experiences. There is no certain path that I can tell you कि ये करोगे तो ये होगा. But there are a few things I would like to point out with my small experience. Is firstly, you should be very much passionate about sports. It's really important because that passion can go down once you are, once you start to work in this field, because there's a lot of grind work going on for a lot of years before you get established. So that in that grinding you can lose your passion if it's not very strong. So you should be really really passionate about your sport. Secondly, of course, the industry is small, as you said. There are not a very lot of many opportunities available in the market, and it's really competitive as well. Like small number of players with very high demand. So uh, you will not get the best of the positions that you might want to. For example, if I want to be a tennis writer and there's no availability of a tennis writer, but I am in general a sports fan. I can write about NBA also and learn about NBA and write about NBA. So if you are a sports fan, you can you can get into whatever positions is available at you at that moment. Try to strive in that and make a place for yourself into what you want after a few years. So of course I have seen there are very less positions available in the market for what a person would require to or want to achieve. And thirdly, like you should be able to, like, a degree is not necessary now, right now. A journalism degree is not necessary, because with the market changing, with the internet coming up, and I would say a sports journalist is more of a content marketer than a journalist. He or she should be able to, market their content well. आयुष ने जैसे लास्ट अपने पॉडकास्ट में बोला था, he is very close to the consumers and he wants to give whatever the consumer wants. Today's fans don't want reporting articles or very statistical heavy article. They don't want to read that for now, because they are watching it and they don't want to go in depth for that. So you just need to give what the fans want, and that's why in India we are good marketers. I feel Indians are the best marketers in the world. So in India, the Indians can really well be positioned in this field, because they can market their content really well. काफी मतलब they know how to mix the masala with the story. So that is what Americans also like, and everyone likes to read. So Joe, there's a small difference between clickbaity and selling your content in a good manner. So the Indians know that difference, and I think it's a very good market for Indians to tap on right now. About the challenges, of course, there were a lot of challenges that I faced. My parents were really supportive, but in the surrounding, it was like MBA kiya hai, you could have landed up with a good job in a good company. What are you doing? But of course, going back to my first point, if you're passionate about something and if you take a leap of faith in yourself, things will work out in the end. So I was not a really bright student or like I said, really bright in English or literature. But because I was passionate and I strive to, whatever things were coming up, I strive to do it properly, and do it for my company and for the fans. That's what helped me to, get me where I am here.
Makes sense. So, like, if someone is really interested in sports and he also wanted to become a writer, right, or content creator in this particular field, whom he should approach? Which companies are there in India? Whom can like support them or like help them in this particular profession? So, yeah, if you can cover some of those, right?
So basically, in the last 3 years, there have been many players coming up in the market.
Hmm.
And because there are many players coming up in the market, the salary has also become competitive. So at first, the salary was not that high for a sports writer, but right now it has become really because of the competition. It has really become at a good. It has really come at a good place. So there are a few players. So for example, there is Crick Tracker. There is for cricket. There is Sports Kida for all the sports, Indian sports. There is The Bridge in Bangalore, which cover all the niche sports in India. Then there is us, Essentially Sports. There is First Sports. So a lot of new players have come up. They are seeing the market. It's a very good profitable business, I would say, because ads in a way, like the operation costs are low. You can run the company remotely, and and the ads revenue are really good overall in the world. So
What other fields in sports can people really aim for? I remember we having a discussion about being a sports, the person travels with these players and interviews them, or be in competitions all around the world. So I think those are some really fascinating career options in within sports, but people are not aware of it. People, when they think of
mm,
sports, they think of being a sports person, like being a cricketer or being a
yes.
footballer.
Mm,
But the associated market is also very huge. For example, IPL you take, right? The people who are involved in IPL are not just sports people, but it's an entire company in itself. So could you just list out a few of the other career options within sports?
yeah. So firstly, of course, there is sports media where you can go as sports journalist. Then there are a few people I have seen that they have created their own blogs, sports blogs. Then now with Twitter coming up, Twitter giving content creators money. There are established sports people who just earn money through Twitter. They update everything on Twitter. Then there are podcasts coming up. People have started their own podcast. Sports management is a altogether different field. It's a vast field. Like you said, the people manage a lot of things, logistics and everything in big leagues like IPL and stuff. Then there are in this field only there are people who manage players, like in individual sports like tennis. There is one manager per player, so that manager it revolves around the player, manages all the scheduling and everything for that player. So that itself is a very vast field, especially in sports like cricket, tennis, football. Then there is sports business management, where it it gives you an option to go into the business side of sports. And yeah, I think these are the major fields that you
I think
can get
the
into.
very and people. So the thing is, even people who are in tech can be in the sports
Yes, yes.
domain, right?
Mm. So,
And
so generic field, of course, photography, technical stuff, and everything, statistical analytics, business analytics. Those generic people can also be there in sports. It's just like any other field. So, yeah.
that's pretty good. And I think people are not understanding the level of pay also that people get in sports. as
Yes.
there's more viewership, obviously,
Mm.
more money is put in, and the roles pay you well when you
Yes.
join the sports domain.
Mm.
So could you talk about
And it's a
yeah,
global industry. It's not just
yes.
like you can just stay in India. So sports is everywhere, and we as Indians have one benefit, that we are one of the best English speaking people in the world, because sports is very heavy in Europe. They strive for, they look for English speaking people with a bit less salary than what Americans ask for. So that's why we have a really good benefit here. Like we are good at English, and we have the knowledge of sports also. We are passionate about it also, and like I said, we are good marketers also. So as Indians, we have we have a good huge respect in the field of sports.
Interesting.
Interesting.
But what has made you stick to the sports field, if I may ask? As you said, people might have told you that MBA किया है तो कुछ management वगैरह job देख लो, but you worked for that one company for 9 months, but then you didn't shift back to a working role like most of us. You stuck to your line where you were working earlier, that is sports. So what made you stick so far? What are some experiences that you have had in your career that have kept the motivation to continue within sports?
So firstly, I have seen the company evolved a lot exponentially. I've seen the company growing from 40 people in 2018 to now 300 people, which is huge. Sports media में इतने लोग नहीं होते in a company, so it's huge. And from that, I have had a really good learning curve. I have been involved with the founders closely, like I said in the start. So uska business side of it, the digital side of it, everything related to how the business runs, how you should run an organization, just like a management course, a real management experience. So that has also helped me to stay here, apart from my passion for sports, of course. And obviously, it's a dream job I'm having. I'm getting to talk to my favorite players, and I could not even dream of talking to them, because I just dreamed of watching them live once, and now I'm here talking to them. They're answering
Just
my
give an
questions.
example. I think people must know what kind of players you're talking
Yeah.
to, and that is also like on a one-on-one or at least an interview format wherein you're actually speaking to them. Yeah, you have to name a few players.
Yes. Yeah, so basically the big four of tennis, the legends of tennis, Andy Murray, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal. These were my idols always. They remain my idols. Um, I, I, I always have they have been my inspiration, and I've always um, looked up to them, the values that they have, and everything, right from their tennis to outside their court, how they carry themselves. They have been a role model for me, and it was a really emotional moment for me talking to these guys. It was nerve-wracking also, and it was a thrilling experience for me. And it was really, I would say, a surreal moment for me watching them, and they were so humble. Like, I'm talking about the greatest of all times,
Yeah.
but they were so humble. They made me feel comfortable. I was new in that field. So basically, there are 12 to 15 journalists coming from various places of the world, and these are middle-aged journalists, 40 to 45 years. And players have a bonding with them, because ये लोग हर जगह उनके साथ जाते हैं.
हाँ, मतलब
Every
बात
day they
करते
are
रहते
asking questions. Yeah. So players have a bonding with them, and suddenly I come from India. No one is there from India, and no one is at such an age also. And I'm asking all the unorthodox questions. They are asking everything about tennis, and I'm asking stuff outside of the court, because that's what we are catering to.
हैं. Yes.
So so I'm asking unorthodox question, and I'm very nervous, like how would they respond to my question, because this is very different from every other question. But they were so humble. They made me feel comfortable. They were calling out my name, so that I can feel in ease. And even while answering the questions, they do not make me feel that this is like what type of question this is. I'm here to play tennis. but they knew what the audience needs, and they answered the questions pretty well. So overall, I had mixed feelings. Like it was like very emotional for me. At the same time, I was really nervous on how they would react. So of
What are
course,
the various?
having a dream.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a dream come true moment for me, and stuff like this. This has happened with me a lot of times in during my 3 year, 4 year career here at Essentially Sports, which made me stick here. Going back to the question.
Yep. So, what are the various roles that you have played within your organization, right? If you can cover some of those, like from the starting when you joined, and then now, what are you doing?
So during my college years, I was a part-time tennis writer. I used to write 3 or 4 tennis articles every day. There is a content manager there. After I completed my college, one of my founders um, got me this opportunity to have a full-time role there, and then I was shifted to the tennis content manager. After that, I was a tennis content manager plus an MBA content manager. I was helping out in the MBA content as well. But at the same time, because I was always interested in marketing, I always wanted to have this opportunity to reach out to these athletes and try to get the interviews and try to get the press conferences and stuff. So I used to make marketing pitches on my own, and I used to take these initiatives and mail them. I almost mailed 80 of them before closing my first one.
Oh,
So
yeah. So,
um,
so this is something which is not according to your job description, but you still went ahead
no,
and did it
yes.
because of your. Oh.
Yes. So they did not ask me. I asked them to make a professional email for me with the company ID, and that's when I started to make a marketing pitch. I There was a trial and error there, and I used to target a few players only, not the biggest players like the what I mentioned before, because in the start you people don't know you and they'll not respond to you. So I used to target the smaller players, and I used to get the context from them through internet or Instagram or Twitter, and that's how I started to mail them. After 85 emails, I closed the first interview, and that was the biggest interview for our company as well, not just for me. So that's how my marketing journey started. And after completing 2 years, I was shifted because the company was growing and evolving so much. We needed to have a marketing team for us, and that's where I was shifted to the marketing lead role.
So currently now you're in the marketing domain, is what you mentioned, right? Uh, Marketing
Yes,
what?
marketing lead.
Marketing deals. So what
Marketing lead,
marketing lead,
the team lead. Huh.
team lead. So what? So I think we were discussing about one of the deals you closed with Reuters or koi badi company thi. I don't remember which.
Get images.
Get images, right? So
Yeah.
what exactly is your role in that? Are you so because that is not marketing or something, right? That is more about brand partnerships, or
Huh.
that is more about doing deals with companies. So you're a part of that as well in within
Yes.
sports.
So if I jot down my day-to-day role or
Yeah.
day-to-day stuff, it's very difficult to jot it down because there is no critical job flow of mine on a day-to-day basis. There are various challenges coming up, and there are week to week or month on month projects that I need to look up. Other than that, the marketing team has different aspects which they need to focus on,
Mm.
which one of them was partnerships, which I was handling at that time. Right now, also I'm only handling the final call of it. But then there are different aspects. For example, there is one side of looking into the digital hemisphere on what is going on Google. So, for example, I will tell you about how Google works. So basically, you write down an article, then Google ranks you on its first page or second page on whatever basis, on the basis of your engagement rates, on the basis of your brand outlook for Google, on the basis of various aspects that Google has. So there are two premium places where you need to rank upon to get the traffic. One is the top stories. If you write down Rafael Nadal, search for Rafael Nadal news, तो एक top stories का panel आएगा. This is one of the most premium places. उसमें 5-6 sites होंगी about focusing on different parts of the news on Rafael Nadal. Then there is Google Discover, which is a customized feed on the basis of your interest. So whenever you open the Google app, you will find a feed coming up on the basis of your interest. That is the most premium place where Google ranks you. So ये सब के लिए there is a lot of things Google is optimizing every day. There are Google core updates coming up in every quarter, where they come up with different guidelines for their publishers, because of course they also want to give the users the best experience. What they are searching for, they want to give what they are searching for. So they are also trying out new permutations and combinations and trying to figure out what is the best, how is the best way we can give what the user want. And that's what make that's how they make rapid changes in the entire digital front, where there are new SEO practices coming up, there are new search news rules coming up, new guidelines for publishers coming up every day. So we have to be on toes with that, because that is our bread and butter. So we want to give whatever Google wants from a brand perspective. Content side of it, content managers and everyone look into it. But from what Google needs from a brand, the marketing team looks into it. Then there is maintaining and building partnerships with various external stakeholders like Getty Images, Reuters, ATP Tour, One Championship. These are various partners of ours which we need to maintain and build a relationship with every year. Then there is large-scale campaigns, marketing campaigns running, like PRs, social media campaigns and stuff, where you need to manage and strategize the execution part of it just. And strategizing brand awareness also. So these are the 4 major areas, key areas that we look into. Apart from it, there is interview side of it also, because we have so many sports, so many athletes, so many coaches, physios available there out to take. We can take an interview. We have an opportunity there, but we need to be targeted on whom to take and when to take for one athlete. So wo target, I help them to decide whom to target, and I also help them to create a marketing pitch for getting those interviews. So these are the core areas where I focus on.
So to make sure that our videos are trending on Google or YouTube, you are the right person to reach out to, right? If people search for the openers or
Google,
podcast,
yes, I
our
can
podcast will be the first one on that list.
Yes.
On
Yes.
Google. So perfect.
Not the right person. I just know what is going on.
No, I think at least for his video, Mayank, Varun will make sure that his video is trending everywhere. If not for other videos.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So YouTube side of it, we are still figuring it out. YouTube is another different field, but Google, yes, we are very much focused on what Google wants.
And what do you think is the future within sports journalism or sports content making? Do you think there are any trends that you spot that might be hot or that the companies are jumping onto? Or do you think this will be in the way it is right now for quite some time to come?
So firstly, basically, fundamentally, sports is such thing which brings people together. I feel, because the entire country is fighting for a lot of things, but when India's match is going on, the entire country is together. So this is one such beautiful thing that brings the entire population together. So it's not going anywhere. Sports as a field. You can see a lot of documentaries, series, movies coming up to promote the sports. For example, the F1 documentary that came, it expanded its market to USA, which we never thought of, because USA as a country focus on their sports. NASCAR, for itself, they have their own racing. racing sport. So they never used to focus on F1, but with the F1 documentary that came on Netflix, it has expanded its horizon, and it has got various markets all over the world. They are also now coming to Mumbai. India is the second best market for them after USA. So with these documentaries coming up, also people are more and more, getting attracted towards sports. The generic fans are coming towards sports. They want to watch sports because everyone is discussing about it on social media, and you don't want to
Don't get
have a
left behind.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Ha, ha. So that's why this is also one good thing happening all over the industry now. We never thought of a tennis documentary. Also, that has also come now. So uh, such things are happening. People are fighting for Netflix and Amazon Prime are fighting for airing the sports live on their platform. So because as you would have seen the World Cup numbers and stuff,
Yeah.
the FIFA World Cup numbers, so it was huge. So it is one of the uh, sports is one of the biggest events where you can gather such large number of crowds all over the world. So as a field, I don't think it's going anywhere. It will keep on increasing, improving, and because it's also combined with entertainment now, I think it will attract a lot more people. And as sports media company, the future looks really bright because, of course, now entertainment coming up, we have another new horizon to look upon with the documentaries and everything coming up. People want to know about behind the scenes stuff for
Yeah.
those documentaries. So it's a whole new market, and I feel that matlab, it's not just about one sport only. Like in India, we feel that it's just about cricket and football. But if you go all over the world, for us right now, bodybuilding is also one of the biggest sports. Golf is one of the biggest sports in terms of numbers. So people are interested in these niche sports also, and they want to read about all the major personalities there.
So
So what
if
are the
some,
new verticals you
Right.
want to try out in this particular thing, right? So what is your future plan? What all future things you are looking forward, right?
So basically, we want to focus more on niche sports, like I said, bodybuilding. So these
Mm,
Olympic sports, people don't focus on. There is less competition there. People are very much focused on the big leagues, NBA, NFL, MLB. Of course, we want to focus there also. The big numbers will come from there. But once you have a grab in the niche market, for example, how we had in the tennis and golf, we want to have that market for these sports like aquatic sports, bodybuilding, then um, uh, all the other Olympic sports like swimming. So
mm,
these are some sports that people don't focus on, but there are a huge fan base there, wanting to read about this.
mm, nice.
So if someone like Mayank is a sports noob and doesn't watch any sport, which sport would you recommend and to start with, and which team that he should support, starting with it?
Okay, so
Team I
it's
can
it has
choose,
to be a
yeah.
team.
At
It
least
has to
just
be a
suggest
team
me a
sport,
sport.
right? It has to be a team sport. Support Mumbai Indians.
Okay, you're a
So,
Mumbai Indians fan, so yeah, definitely.
no,
During
but
the time of COVID, I started watching chess. I watched some of the championships as well. But yeah, if
okay,
you don't ask me details, right? You are a
okay, but
journalist, don't ask me details, but yeah, I just followed it a little bit. But yeah,
but
sport
in
was
India, if you
never.
don't want to have a FOMO, you should watch football, because even if you don't watch cricket, you will hear
Oh,
some
what is
news
happening?
about. Ah,
Mm,
but if you watch football, you can discuss stuff with people. So I would recommend you to watch Premier League.
mm.
Yeah, and I think nowadays the craze, especially among girls, is F1. I don't know why and
Yeah,
how,
Because
why?
of the
Yeah, I have
series.
seen.
but
Because of
everyone
the
is
series, and
talking.
also the racers are looking like they are more of a fashion models than
That's the reason.
so the drivers are also really good looking, and because of the Netflix series also coming up. So
That's why.
हम्म,
So Mayank, F1 चालू कर देना अगर
चला सकते हैं ना, गाड़ी वाड़ी चला लेंगे, ये देखना है।
देखने की बात कर रहे
यार
हैं कहाँ चलाएगा
फर्स्ट सेकंड ही तो देखना है, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड कौन आया।
हाँ ये मेन इम्पोर्टेंट है, वो घूमते रहेंगे ऐसे 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 लास्ट में पहले दिन देखने वाले कौन आने
So do
वाला
you like attending matches as well?
I like attending.
Any
मैच
of the tournaments or matches?
Yeah, so I recently went to Singapore. I attended one of the MMA events. They're live, watching just beside the cage. I used to think ki what is I was never a combat sports fan because I don't like this fighting and all. I thought ki isme kya adrenaline rush hai and why do people like this? But when I saw it live, I could hear the punches, I could hear the kicks and everything. It was something else, and the atmosphere there in the stadium was really good, and how they how they cheer up the players and everyone. It was a really good experience for me. So of course, going into the stadiums, watching the games live is a different experience.
Yeah, just to
Nice.
clarify, MMA is not equal to WWE.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know.
WWE is an
it's a real
entertainment only.
fighting.
Yeah,
This is
it's a real fighting.
Yeah,
So
so
we
we
are
could see
having
the
a,
blood bath and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, definitely. I have seen YouTube shorts around those. So we are having this segment. What's your day look like, right? What happens in your day-to-day life? How you manage your time, or like what do you like to do in your free time? Except sports.
So
Except sports now.
sports.
okay, okay, okay. So I was starting with playing tennis only in the morning. So uh, yeah, so I listen to music. I do some meditation in the morning and then I listen to music. I start off with my day with some good music. I think Nishant would
Yeah. Same similar
Nishant
music
could
taste.
recommend me.
Mayank also has similar music taste, Varun. So he
Oh,
listens
okay,
to
okay.
songs like us only, Mayank.
But yeah, meditation
That
is quite a lot that I'm listening from folks, right? So I think I should also start
I try
meditating.
to do it. I don't know how well I can do it, but I'm just trying it to
That's good.
have some self reflection because I don't get time throughout the day to think about stuff. So just to have that my time, I do a 15-20 minute meditation. Then I listen to music. I continue with my work. And this year I've started to read books. It's very important. Ayush was talking about reading books.
Yeah.
I don't.
Same, even I
I
started this year. I'm almost finishing my
I
second book
don't
by
read
now.
books. Yeah, this is my first book going on, so I try to complete it. I don't read books.
Which one you started?
A sports book only, but it's okay.
No, but I think like it's good, right? At least you
Yeah,
started.
it's a sports
Yeah.
autobiography. So
Hmm.
I've started to read Rafael Nadal autobiography only.
Okay.
I'm a big fan
Hmm.
of him. So, but I'll continue reading books other than sports also.
Hmm.
Some literature and management side of it. Rest, yeah, that's my day look like. I sometimes go to city to meet my friends. There are a few friends there.
I
Nishant
don't
left me.
think you talk about like golf and all, but you didn't. So yeah, what about golf? You play
So
golf?
so whenever
Tuesday
I
खेलता भाई
come to
golf
Manes,
में.
whenever I come to Manesar, I tried playing golf. I don't know how to. I have clicked good pictures for, but
For
I've
the
not
gram.
played professionally.
Nice.
I only know how to play cricket and tennis. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Great.
that's
Good.
that's
काफी
pretty
बढ़िया
good. I
था
think
यार.
to end, any tips to people who are interested in sports but not sure how to proceed? What should they do?
Uh, firstly, मतलब मैं तो कोई बड़ा इंसान नहीं हूँ टिप देने वाला,
अरे सब दे सकते.
but yeah, I think one should believe that you can make career out of it, like we were discussing. It's really important to believe. Even I was not knowing
Yeah.
that I can make a career out of it until very later on. So realizing it that it's a field that you can make a good career, and of course, trying to, like I said, like whatever positions you are getting in, trying to get into that position, not looking for your dream job just after completing your graduation, or just trying out a new field. You cannot get a dream job um, as soon as you would want to, but you'll have to strive for it. There, like you'll have to work hard. It's very rare that you can get what you want in this field right now, for the first few years. After that, once you have established yourself, of course you can look out for new opportunities, but um, you need to work on the ground. You need to have less salaries than your peers doing other work, because at start the salaries is also not that high in this field, but as you grow on, it is exponentially high. So you need to believe that you need to not have that mindset that मुझे अभी के अभी चाहिए. You need to stay
Patience होना
calm
चाहिए
and
इसमें, और कुछ
stay calm and stay there. Do what you are liking, and don't let the fan inside you die.
that's very important. Yeah, nicely said.
Nice. Amazing,
Yeah.
Varun. It was amazing interacting with you. I hope you liked it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
हाँ यार, मजा आ गई.
मजा बढ़िया था यार,
मैंने
बढ़िया
कभी इतना मैंने कभी इतना कैमरा के सामने नहीं बोला.
था